Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel, guys. So what I have for you guys today is going to be a slightly different video than I've been doing lately, but what I have for you guys today is going to be a top 10 list for the top 10 surprising players so far this season who have taken the championship by storm. So of course this list will be my opinion of the top 10 surprising players in the championship so far, and I'd be interested to hear what you guys have to say about this topic. So when compiling this list, what I thought the players I put into this list were the players who at the start of the season didn't really have too much expectations to be doing anything this season, but so far have been great. So I'll be interested to hear from you guys as to, first of all, who do you think should make it onto this list for the top 10 most surprising players in the championship so far this season, but also as well, who from your club has surprised you the most so far this season. So someone you came into this season having quite little expectations of, but so far they've gone on to really impress you. Let me know down below, because this could be an interesting video to go ahead and have a few discussions on. So guys, if you do go on to enjoy the video, make sure you do leave a like, and as well as that, make sure you do subscribe for some regular championship content. But apart from that, guys, let's get into this top 10 list. So coming in at number 10 on the list is going to be Nottingham Forest Kieran Dowell. Now, at the start of the season, I've got to be honest, I didn't really know much about this guy. Before this season had actually started, he'd only made 2 professional appearances in football for Everton, so really an unknown in terms of what he could actually bring to this Nottingham Forest side. But in recent weeks and months for Forest, he has been absolutely sublime. Already this season, he's been able to score 7 goals and bag 3 assists, and some of them, I've got to say, have been some absolute worldies for him. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing what else he can do in this Nottingham Forest side. I think that the way they play does suit him as well, so I'm looking forward to seeing what else he can do this season. Definitely been a surprise for me. And then coming in at number 9 on the list, I mean, this wouldn't be an actual Ben HD video if I didn't include a Preston player, of course. So coming in at number 9, it is going to be Preston North End's Darnell Fisher. Now, Darnell Fisher came into this season with very low expectations, I think that's fair to say, and the reason for that being was that Rotherham fans were just absolutely battering this guy when we signed him. They were saying, oh, he's absolutely awful, why have Preston signed him, I can't believe they spent money on him. I mean, you just need to look over some of the tweets that Rotherham fans were saying at the start of the season to see they really didn't rate this guy last season. I mean, here are some of the tweets what Rotherham fans were saying at the start of the season. No amount of money should ever be paid for Fisher. Winner, winner. Still shocked we got money for Fisher. I mean, did Peony even watch him last season? Really can't believe we received money for Darnell Fisher. So as you can see, Rotherham fans really didn't rate him at the start of the season, but in my opinion, he's probably been one of the best fullbacks so far this season in the championship. He's defended on one-on-one situations is absolutely sublime, and to consider we got him at such a low price from Rotherham as well, I think he was an absolute steal for Preston, and he makes it onto this list. And then coming into this list, guys, at number 8, that is going to be Mate Vidra, who has already scored this season more than double what he was able to accumulate in the whole of last season for Derby County. Now, Gary Rowett really seems to be getting the best out of Vidra, and on his day, he can be absolutely spectacular for him, and is probably one of the main reasons, if not the biggest reason, why Derby are doing so well at this point in time in the championship. And so last season, he only managed to go ahead and bag 5 goals. When you compare it to this time, when we're still only in December and he's already been able to bag 12 goals for Derby, he's seen a massive improvement, really. I think he always did have this in his locker. It's just he was never really played in the right way last season, in my opinion. He was always played out wide or something like that, and Derby never really utilised him to his full ability, but we're now seeing that this season, and Derby have seen the benefits. And then coming in at number 7 onto this list, guys, that is going to be Junior Hoylett of Cardiff City. Now, I know pretty much everyone was aware of Junior Hoylett before this season did come into start, and I think a lot of people had the general view of him that he was, yeah, a solid championship player, but so far this season, he has been nothing but that. He has been exceptional for Cardiff, and is one of the main contributors as to why they're currently located 2nd in the championship. Already this season, he's been able to go ahead and bag 6 goals and 5 assists, and some of them have been massive goals for Cardiff as well, getting them quite a few points this season, and he's just been an absolute gem for them so far. Then going into our list at number 6, guys, that is going to be Adomah now. So far this season for Aston Villa, he has been so influential for them and probably has been their best player so far this season. Maybe Sam Johnson, but that's a debate which Villa fans can have, I'm sure. But for him, so far this season, I know a lot of people were aware of the capabilities of Adomah, but last season for Aston Villa, I only think he scored 3 or 4 goals for them. When you compare it to this season, when he's already got into double figures for this season, he has been an absolute magic man. And considering as well, Aston Villa have had Jonathan Kodjia out injured for pretty much the whole of the season, they needed someone to step up this season and be that guy to go ahead and drive at teams, and that so far has been Adomah, and he's really surprised me so far. And then coming into our list at number 5, guys, that is going to be George Savile, who of course is currently playing for Millwall. Now, a couple of you, this may be a bit of a surprising pick, but I'm sure all of the Millwall fans which are watching this video will tell you just how good George Savile has been for them so far this season. And of course, they did sign him in the summer transfer window from Wolves, as of course Wolves were having a little bit of a clear out earlier on in the season, as they had a couple of people that they just wanted to move on, George Savile being one of them. And I don't think he left the best impression with Wolves fans. You know, he's sort of that average championship player, I think they saw him as. But for Millwall, he's been anything but that. He's already scored 6 goals for them so far this season and has been such an influential player in that Millwall midfield, which has been so solid for the majority of the season so far, and he's really now showing what he's capable of. Then coming into our list at number 4, guys, that is going to be the place of Bobby Reid of Bristol City. And of course, I had to include the Bristol City player onto this list, as they have been probably one of the surprise packages of the championship so far, currently sitting 3rd in the table. And of course, the goal scoring ability he's brought to this Bristol City side has been absolutely superb. Last season, he didn't have the best goal scoring record. He only bagged 3 goals for Bristol City last season, and considering this season he's already been able to score 10, that's just shown the improvement that he's had over this summer. And I mean, one thing we have to bring up when we talk about Bobby Reid is some of the gifts that he's been involved with on the Bristol City Twitter account, and that alone should get him a place in this top 10. Then coming into our list as the number 3, guys, that is actually going to be Leo Bonatini of Wolves. Now, I don't know what you guys thought, but at the start of the season, this guy was a fairly unknown one. You know, I don't know about you guys, but I'm not an avid watcher of the Saudi League, so I've got to admit I didn't know a lot about Leo Bonatini. And at the start of the season, there were a lot of Wolves fans that were really pushing for them to sign a striker in that transfer window, and of course they were really pushing until deadline day, but nothing seemed to happen in the end, and of course they were left with Bonatini. And I know a couple people rated him at the start of this season, but I don't think many people anticipated him to be as good as he has been. For Wolves this season, he's already been able to bag 12 goals for them. He's of course won a Championship Player of the Month award as well, and some of the goals he scored for Wolves have been absolutely vital, and he's been a key component of that forward 3, which has been so good for them. Then coming into our list, guys, at number 2, that is going to be the place of Martin Waghorn of Ipswich Town, and possibly the signing of the season for Ipswich. They got him at a price of around 250k. That is absolutely mental, considering just how immense he's been for Ipswich so far this season. For them to be picking him up at that price from Rangers is just mad, and it's probably one of the bargains of the season without a doubt for Ipswich. Now, you just have to look at Martin Waghorn's record in the Championship before he signed for Ipswich. His last season in the Championship was with Wigan in the 2014/15 season, and in that year he only scored 3 goals in the Championship. So coming into this season, there were a lot of people who were anticipating Martin Waghorn to be a flop in the Championship, but let me tell you, he has been anything but. He's already managed to score 10 goals and get 4 assists, and I'm sure every Ipswich fan will tell you what a player he's been so far. But guys, let's be realistic. There could only be one player who makes the number 1 spot on this list, guys. So in my opinion, the most surprising player to take the Championship by storm this year, by far, it has to be Leon Clarke of Sheffield United. Currently, guys, the top scorer in the Championship when we're recording this video, which is pretty baffling, of course. In the Championship so far this season, he's been able to accumulate 14 goals. And at the start of the season, you know, there was a lot of things being thrown at Leon Clarke. You know, he was a League One striker at best. He wouldn't cut it in the Championship, but my oh my has he proved his doubters wrong so far. I mean, I remember not too long ago, I think it was about 2011, when Leon Clarke had a brief stint at my club Preston in the Championship. This season we got relegated actually, and he was absolutely tragic for us. He was just awful. And if you look at his goal scoring form before this season with Sheffield United in the Championship, it's really not anything to write home about. So his form at the moment just has to be admired really, and the goals he's been able to score for Sheffield United, I don't know how he's doing it at the moment, but long may it continue for him. He has been absolutely brilliant, and I'm sure Sheffield United fans are absolutely loving him at the moment. So there you guys have it. That will wrap it up for this top 10 list, guys. So do you agree with my top 10 most surprising players so far this season? Let me know down below. So as always, guys, I would love to get your comments on what you thought of the video and who you think has been the most surprising player this season in the Championship as a whole, guys. But apart from that, that will now wrap it up for this video. So if you have enjoyed, make sure you do leave a like. It is always massively appreciated. As well as that, make sure you do subscribe for some regular Championship content. But apart from that, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.